Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Planning Commission, Cobb County Planning Commission zoning hearing for February 6, 2024. I'm Michael Hughes, the Vice Chair. Stephen Vault, our Chair, will not be joining us today, nor will Deborah Dance, our Planning Commissioner. We will go ahead and get started with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. John, if you could go ahead and go through our agenda for the day and our procedures.
And thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Today's hearing will be conducted with the following process and procedure. Each case will be called in numerical order. We would ask that the applicant please stand up and raise their hand to show that they are in attendance. After that, we're going to call to see if there's anyone here opposed to that specific case. And we would also ask that the opposition please stand up and raise their hand so they can be counted for the record. After that, the applicant and any opposition will be asked to come forward and be sworn in. They will present testimony to the board at the front dais here. The applicant will testify first, and then the opposition, if any, will testify second. It's important to note that each side only gets 10 minutes to state their case or concerns. There's not a rebuttal process, and there's not a process to convey, reserve your time. So you want to convey all your information to the board within your 10-minute time period. Additionally, if there's more than one person who wishes to speak on an issue, you may want to coordinate with each other about what you're going to talk about because each side only gets 10 minutes, and you don't want to cover the same information over and over. After that, the board will start to discuss the case at hand. From the discussion, they may have more questions or comments for the speakers. And after that, the board will make a decision to either approve, deny, hold, or continue the matter at hand. There are 10 cases on today's printed agenda which have been either continued or held, and these cases will not be heard today. First case is rezoning case Z40 of 2023, Atlanta Remediation Group, LLC. This case was continued by the staff until the March 5th, 2024 Planning Commission zoning hearing, so Z40 of 2023 will not be heard today. Rezoning case Z52 of 2023, 1054 Investment Group, LLC. This case was continued by the staff until the March 5th, 2024 Planning Commission zoning hearing, so Z52 of 2023 will not be heard today. Rezoning case Z59 of 2023, SS Developers, LLC. This case was continued by the staff until the March 5th, 2024 Planning Commission zoning hearing, so Z59 of 2023 will not be heard today. Rezoning case Z60 of 2023, MRE Canton, LLC. This case was continued by the staff until the March 5th, 2024 Planning Commission zoning hearing, so Z60 of 2023 will not be heard today. Rezoning case Z61 of 2023, David Pearson Communities Incorporated. This case was continued by the staff until the March 5th, 2024 Planning Commission zoning hearing, so Z61 of 2023 will not be heard today. Rezoning case Z64 of 2023, Cedar Real Estate Group 4, LLC. This case was continued by the staff until the March 5th, 2024 Planning Commission zoning hearing. So Z64 of 2023 will not be heard today. Rezoning case Z2 of 2024, Flournoy Development Group, LLC. This case was continued by the staff until the March 5th, 2024 Planning Commission zoning hearing. So Z2 will not be heard today. Rezoning case Z3 of 2024, Ashwani Kumar Kurara was continued by staff until the March 5th, 2024 Planning Commission zoning hearing, so Z3 will not be heard today. Rezoning case Z4 of 2024, Big Gym Therapy, LLC. This case was continued by the staff until the March 5th, 2024 Planning Commission zoning hearing, so Z4 will not be heard today. And lastly, rezoning case Z6 of 2024, Inline Communities, LLC. This case was continued by the staff until the March 5th, 2024 Planning Commission zoning hearing, so Z6 will not be heard today. I would like to ask the people in today's audience, if you have a cell phone, please put your cell phones on mute. When they ring, it does interfere with the broadcast and the presentation. And I want to remind applicants, opposition, or any interested party that information is due to this board the Wednesday prior to this hearing. Any information submitted after the Wednesday due date may or may not be considered by the board at their discretion. At this point, Mr. Vice Chair and Board, I'm ready to start the consent agenda.
Please proceed.
Cobb County Planning Commission zoning hearing consent agenda for February 6, 2024. First case on consent is rezoning case Z66 of 2023. 41 Park and Toy and Self-Storage, Inc. request a rezoning from GC and R20 to LI for a climate-controlled self-service storage facility in land lots 2 and 37 of the 20th District. The property is located on the east side of Cobb Parkway, south of 3rd Army Road. Staff recommends deletion to the NRC zoning district, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, letter from Mr. Parks Huff dated January 31st, 2024, which includes the revised site plan. Number 2, Fire Department comments and recommendations. Number 3, Water and Sewer Department comments and recommendations. Number 4, Stormwater Management comments and recommendations. Number 5, Cobb DOT comments and recommendations. And number 6, any and all changes to go back to the Board of Commissioners for approval. The applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed? Rezoning case Z66. Let the record show there's no one opposed. And moving into land use permits on the consent agenda. LUP 4, Congress S. Hyam requests a temporary land use permit renewal for a daycare in land lot 969 of the 16th District. The property is located on the south side of Roswell Road and on the north side of Fairfield Drive, east of Indian Hills Parkway. Staff recommends approval for 24 months, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, site plan received by the zoning division dated November 15th, 2023. Number 2, fire department comments and recommendations. And number 3, Department of Transportation comments and recommendations. Is the applicant present? Present. Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to LEP 4? Let the record show there's no one opposed. I believe Commissioner Anderson wants to add one more condition to the agenda item.
Yes. Thank you, John. I'd also like to add one more condition to LUP 4, which is that it will be subject to all previous stipulations from LUP 10 2010 and LUP 11 2012, including the stipulation letter from Parks Huff dated March 15th, 2010.
Okay. Next case is LUP 6, Early Education LLC, request a temporary land use permit renewal for a daycare in land lot 50, 51, 94, 95 of the 17th District. The property is located on the west side of Hurt Road, north of Plantation Road. Staff recommends approval for 24 months, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, the maximum number of students permitted by the state and fire codes. Is the applicant present? Is the applicant here for LUP 6? Is there anyone here opposed to LUP 6? There's no one opposed, and the applicant's not present this time. So you want to leave it on?
Yeah, we'll leave it on.
All right. Moving into special land use permits on the consent agenda. SLEP 8 of 2023, 41 Park and Toy and Self-Storage, Inc. request a special land use permit for a climate-controlled self-storage facility in land lot 2 and 37 of the 20th District. The property is located on the east side of Cobb Parkway, south of 3rd Army Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, letter from Mr. Parks Huff dated January 31st, 2024, which includes the revised site plan. Number 2, fire department comments and recommendations. Number 3, water and sewer department comments and recommendations. Number 4, stormwater management comments and recommendations. Number 5, Cobb DOT comments and recommendations. And number 6, any and all changes to go back to the Board of Commissioners for approval. The applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed to SLUP 8? Let the record show there's no one opposed. And that completes the printed consent agenda, Mr. Vice Chair and Board.
Thank you, John. We'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as revised. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Having spoken previously, I believe these 2 additional conditions on, let me get my numbers right. Z66 and SLEP 8, that there will be no on-site servicing or repairs of boats, RVs, four-wheelers, or other toys, as they're called, parked there, and specifically including no oil changes, and that all other stipulations not in conflict as previously imposed on any portion of Park or Toy by the Board of Commissioners, including those delineated in a September 11, 2003 letter from Parks Huff, I'm sorry, let me see who it is from Garvis Sams to John Peterson, will apply. Are those okay? You're raising your hand to indicate that's fine? And again, that's to the extent not otherwise in conflict. Thank you. So I move to amend the consent agenda by adding those 2 additional conditions.
I'd like to also make another amendment to the consent agenda. I'd like to request that Z5 2024 also be added to the.
Okay, let me go ahead and read it in.
Okay.
And ask for opposition, and then you can read in your conditions.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, rezoning case Z5 of 2024, Mariana Kovich requests a rezoning from RA4 to LRO for medical office in land lots 9 and 10 of the 1st District. The property is located on the south side of Lower Roswell Road, west of Woodlawn Drive. The applicant is present. Is there anyone here opposed to rezoning case Z5? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Just proceed with your proposed conditions, Commissioner Anderson.
Okay. Yeah, I will be adding just one condition to what was read in, which is inclusion of Kevin Moore's stipulation letter dated January 29th, 2024.
Oh. And would your motion include, let me see here. The staff recommendation was to delete it to the limited professional services permit. Would it be your motion to follow
Yeah,
that?
should I read? I can read the whole list of staff
Yeah,
recommendations.
probably good.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed it. Yeah, I'll go through and read that. So, motion is to delete the LPSP.
Yes.
Sorry, S and FP jump around sometimes when I'm reading. Limited professional services permit, subject to site plan dated January 2nd, 2024, with district commissioner approving minor modifications. Health practitioner or professional office use only, with specific users subject to district commissioner approval. Landscaping plan, which includes 10-foot buffer adjacent to existing residential properties, to be approved by the district commissioner. Department of Transportation comments and recommendations. Fire Department comments and recommendations. Stormwater Management Division comments and recommendations. Water and Sewer Division comments and recommendations. And then inclusion of the stipulation later from Kevin Moore dated January 29th, 2024.
Okay.
Motion to amend. We need to approve the motion to amend.
Yes, you need to do the motion to amend first, and then once we're all done revising it, then we do the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I move to, that we amend the consent agenda with all comments and statements made by Commissioner Anderson and by me.
Okay. We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
A motion and a proper second. Any discussion? We'll call the question on amending the consent agenda. Sorry. Motion passes 3-0 with Commissioners Dance involved, not in attendance. Now we'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as revised.
So moved.
We have a motion, second.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second to approve the agenda, consent agenda as revised. Call for any discussion? Okay, call for the question. Motion is approved 3-0 with Commissioners Dance involved, not in attendance.
Okay, all those folks that were on consent agenda, you're free to leave. Just come back in 2 weeks for the Board of Commissioners zoning hearing. And moving into the held and continued part of the agenda. First case we're going to hear today is rezoning case Z57 of 2023. which is Gordon Todd Spencer, requesting a rezoning from GC and CF to NRC for a laundromat, which is self-service and full service, in land lots 775 in the 19th District. The property is located on the east side of Austell Road, north of Amy Lane. Is the applicant present? The director of the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to rezoning case Z57? With the record show there's no one opposed, would the applicant please come forward to be sworn in?
Good morning. Todd Spencer with GTS Consulting, 300 Lucinda Court, Marietta. I am going to quickly go through the, we submitted a stipulation letter in response to the opposition from this project. And you guys you should have a copy of that, I believe. Is that correct? Yes? Okay. Okay. So I just kind of wanted to quickly go through those items that we changed in response to the opposition that was here at the last meeting. We reached out to two of the members, two of those three people we had contact information with, and we reached out to them and talked with them and addressed their concerns and everything. So first was the hours of operation. We originally were going to do a 24/7 operation, change that to the hours of still 7 days a week, but open from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., Monday through Sunday. So those are the new hours of operation. The Planning Commission staff requested a 6-foot solid wooden privacy fence installed along the north property line from Austell Road, and we are including that in our plans. At the request of the Planning Commission, the non-brick parts of the building to be painted an earth tone color that must be approved by the district commissioner. That's we're going to do to comply with that. At the request of the Planning Commission staff, no outdoor storage or outdoor display of merchandise will be present on the property, complying with that. And we also pledge to review and address all comments and recommendations of the Fire Department, Site Plan Review, Planning Division, Stormwater Management Division, Water and Sewer Division, and the Department of Transportation. Crime was another issue that was brought up with this project, and especially crimes occur in parking lots a lot. And so we're to help prevent that. There are two main ways we're going to address that: lighting and security cameras being the two of those. Lighting, having a well-lit parking lot is a deterrent to theft and vandalism. So we're going to provide, we will design the parking lot lighting to provide adequate lighting at night with enough light poles in the right areas. Utilize LED rather than HID lighting. It's a more natural light and it illuminates a lot better. Security cameras, we're going to have those. There are 5 key places where the security cameras will be located in the parking lot, at the entrance, pointed at the entrance of the building. At the office to deter employee thefts. A security camera will be installed in the office area, focused on the equipment, on the laundry equipment, to monitor any vandalism or theft that might occur there. It says change machine in here. Actually, it's going to be a cashless system where you get a debit card from the machine, and so there'll be no cash and money stored in the change machines. They'll be basically credit card machines. So everything is cashless system. Landscaping, we want to add green spaces, grass patches, trees, planters, low maintenance plants, build hard pathways and hardscapes. We're going to put some type of pavers and stamp colored concrete in some areas. And the trees and shrubs, add those. And there will be a civil engineer involved to, their task will be to address the comments and recommendations provided by the Stormwater Management Department. And they wanted us to conduct, the fire flow test as required. And then also, the civil engineer will address the comments and recommendations by the CC DOT. So that's that. I was going to quickly show some of the revised plans that we, how do I do that? I've never done, okay. Yeah. If you could just quickly go through these. How much time do I have? 2 minutes? Right. Okay. And you can just quickly run through. This is the existing photos of the existing facility as it is now. Not in great shape, so we plan to renovate it completely. This is some images of the type of look we're going for with this project, just some example projects. Next page. These are some interior shots of the type, again, the type of look, the finishes of the flooring material, the type, it's not going to be your typical laundromat. It's going to be upscale. These are a 3D model that was done. The parking lot design has changed, but the building is basically the same. And it just shows the seating area at the front, parking on the side. Next slide. This is a front area. We're going to have like a little seating area. This kind of a side entry for people to wait while their clothes are being washed. Another view of the seating area. Keep going. Have a nice mural on the wall in the front under the sign. Keep going. That's good. And that's the entry to the building. It's actually going to be a little bit smaller, but that's the main entry. This is a cover sheet of the project. Keep going. This is the existing site plan. One of the problems was in this area right here, there was an encroachment onto our site, and Sean and the owner met with the mobile home park and got that encroachment removed. So now it's gone. They basically got rid of it, so it doesn't encroach on our property anymore. Next. This is the site plan where we've moved the dumpster to the back of the building so it's not visible from the street. 14 parking spaces in the parking lot, which should meet code. And added the wooden property fences at the north side along between the mobile home park and our facility. Next slide, please. This is where we've added trees, security cameras. The big black dots are security cameras. The trees, the planters, everything to comply with the concerns of the opposition. Next slide, please. This is an existing site plan. This is where we're showing demolishing interior walls. You can go to the next one. This is your existing elevations. Keep going. Another existing elevation. This is the existing floor plan showing the new washers and dryers. Bottom corner, left corner is the security office, a couple of restrooms. And next slide, please. And then these are the elevations showing the front of the building, the mural, that's the back of the building at the bottom. Next slide. And then last one, again, shows the elevations from the front and rear. So, and that basically concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Spencer. I appreciate that. Since
Questions or anything?
Yes.
Okay.
Since we don't have any opposition, and this is in District 4, I'll lead the discussion with respect to this application.
I may need to bring my clients up to answer some questions, but.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank
Okay.
you. You can stay there just because the first few questions are going to be for you.
Okay.
Just glad to see that you were able to meet with some of the individuals who spoke in opposition when we last met in December. Mm-hmm. It appears that you have addressed some of their concerns. Glad to see that it's a cashless system
Right.
that you're going to at this point, which hopefully will reduce the potential for crime, particularly on site. Wanted just to clarify a couple of things. Is the applicant going to be the actual operator of this business?
Yes.
At this location?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, is the applicant, you mean, well,
Well,
not me, but
your
my
client-
clients,
Your
yes.
client
yes.
will be the
Correct,
operator,
yes.
correct? And then also want to just clarify, on-site staff, will somebody be there during operating hours?
Yes.
At all times?
At all times, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. I'll stop there with my questions for you and look to my fellow commissioners to see if y'all have any questions.
Only question I had was just to clarify on the applicant being the operator. They will also be the owner. They're not leasing it back from anybody else.
No.
Is that correct?
That's
Okay.
correct.
All right, great, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Just briefly, very, very pleased to hear about the cashless idea. I know that was important in Commissioner Yu's comments. Do you know what kind of trees you're going to put in the planter bed in the back?
I don't, I haven't decided yet.
The only reason I bring it up is I've seen it so many times as you drive around the county and look at parking lots that were created like 20 or 25 years ago at a fast food place or whatever, and the trees are preventing the LED lighting or the old incandescent lighting from working properly.
Right.
So,
Yeah, so we need to either plant very short trees, I guess.
right, exactly. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you, I appreciate that. John, if you could just give staff's recommendation as it relates to this particular request.
Sure. The staff would recommend that the application be approved, subject to his letter dated January 19th, 2024, and subject to all the staff comments, recommendations contained in the final zoning analysis.
Okay, all right, thank you. Again, just wanted to reiterate my pleasure, I guess, in seeing that the applicant and the individuals who spoke in opposition were able to appear to come to some agreement with respect to the particular application. Applaud the applicant for being willing to work with those individuals who live in that area. I'm inclined to offer up a motion to recommend approval of this request. However, I want to refine some of the staff's recommendations here, and I'm just going to touch on the ones that I'd like to address. The first one is site plan be approved by the zoning division, received by the zoning division dated January 19th, 2024, which John just referenced. And then, John, one quick question. Item 2 under zoning recommendation says variances as stated in zoning comments. When I looked at staff's report, I didn't see any zoning or variance requests.
Yeah, there are two variances.
There are two variances.
To reduce the front setback from required 50 feet to 2 feet, which is existing, or it's going to be existing once they put the cover on it. And number 2, reduce the right side setback from 15 feet to 10 feet.
Okay, all right, that's fine. With that said, let me add a couple of conditions as well with respect to, this will be 13 item, this will be condition number 13. Final architectural elevations to be approved by the district commissioner. And also that the final site plan, that the final security plan and landscape plan be reviewed and approved by the district commissioner as well, based on the January 19th, 2024 preliminary plans that were submitted by the applicant. Furthermore, I just want to, the other thing I'll add to that too is that just confirming that this will be a cashless operation and that staff will be on site during operating hours. And that would be my motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any question, or additional discussion? Call the question. Motion is approved 3-0 with Commissioners Dance and Vaught absent. Thank you.
Okay. All right, next case is LUP 30 of 2023, Donald Perry requested a temporary land use permit to allow more vehicles than the code allows in land lot 559 of the 19th district. The property is located on the southeast side of Farmington Drive at the terminus of Angus Trail. Is the applicant present? Yeah, and let the record show the applicant's presence. Is there anyone here opposed to LEP 30? Let the record show there's no one opposed.
He's going to swear you in. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We were together in December, and when we last met, and there were some conditions applied or discussed at that time with respect to submitting a site plan, evidence that you had permission to park cars from other nearby property owners on the property, and also during that time you weren't to provide or not be allowed to park on the public right-of-way. So you have an update for us on where things stand at this point?
Yes. Let me get that out the folder. I do have an update. First, I'd like to say something. You know, last time I was here, I kind of felt disrespected when I came up here and stuff. I was like, it was like everything was against me, like I came here to defend myself, when only we came here to ask for additional parking because of our grandchildren. And then we were told not to park on the right-of-way of the street. When I looked it up, that's really not a code violation. It's more of a police matter and stuff. But we have complied with the parking of 4 vehicles on the property. Now, my thing is, when we came here to ask for additional parking, we only came to ask for additional parking. Like I said, I didn't think I was going to be coming here to get jumped on by code enforcement and yourself by telling us not to park on the street and stuff. So anyway, moving forward, we were going to put a carport up, and we decided to put that on hold. But we do have the site plan and everything. We got all the permits and everything that's available, well, that we were required to get and stuff like that. But that's on hold for right now because we have other issues going on in our family and stuff. So pretty much we're just here to tell you we have complied. Like I said when I came initially, we only come to comply with the laws and whatever the county has and stuff. But like I said, I felt like we were attacked when we got here about the previous situations that was going on when, like I said, we came here to ask for additional parking for our grandchildren and ourselves and stuff. That's the only reason we came here. And we didn't even ask to come here. Code enforcement suggested that we come here to get the variance for additional parking. And I guess at that's where I'm gonna leave it right now.
Okay, all right. Thank you. That's it at this point. We'll, if that's your update.
Do you need to see the site planning and all that we had to go get?
If you have it, that'd be fine, since there's no opposition.
Okay. 2639, you can see the garage area of the house as it comes out on, I guess, the right-hand side. Yes. And we were going to have a carport actually extending out to the end of the driveway, and we're going to have an attachment coming off the house to meet the carport so that it would be in compliance of attachment to the house, carport, or garage.
Okay. And when you say it's on hold, why is it on hold at this point in time?
What's that?
You said it was on hold.
Yes.
Meaning
That's
you're,
because everybody that had cars there has, they're moved.
Okay.
They don't live there anymore.
okay,
So technically, there will only be 4 cars there.
okay,
And if we were told it's in the very beginning, only 4 cars on the property, we'd have complied then. Like I said, the goalpost was being moved constantly on us. When I was in California, they was telling us about parking on the grass, which I totally get. I don't want nobody parking on my grass and driving off in the street. I got that. But it was never said to us about the 4 cars only on the property and stuff until later, after fines have been issued and everything else. Whereas if that was told to us, we'd have saved $1,000 and could have had the carport or whatever going towards that. But that didn't happen and stuff, you know, because we're trying to comply, so we got the cars off the grass, parking on the grass. Then it was an issue where the cars was parked on the street and in the driveway, and it was a total of 9 cars because our grandkids and ourselves, we have vehicles and we have great-grandchildren, which they have to take to daycare and school and things of that nature and stuff. And like I said before when I came here, my granddaughters are going to school for college, for nursing and things of that nature. So now they're moving on, like I said in the beginning when I came here, that they wouldn't be there for 6 to a year, and now they're moving forward and stuff with their progress in school and their families and stuff.
so with that being said then, so you made application for this land use permit?
I did.
At the request of code enforcement, I guess? Is that what you're saying?
At the request of who?
Code enforcement, is that what you're saying? And now your situation has changed?
Well, I don't know if code enforcement asked us to do that or not, but in order to get a carport, I believe the code enforcement representative was saying it had to be attached to the house, because we was thinking to just get a carport and do what we have to do. And that's when we was told that it has to be attached to the house, and we had to do this permit right here that I have.
Okay. So bottom line is, you're saying here today that the individuals that were in the home since we last spoke are no longer there. Is that?
What I'm here to say today is we're complying with the 4 cars parked on the property. You know,
Okay.
they're moving. They haven't moved completely yet, but they're moving by the 1st of March. They have found other places to stay at this time.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't have any other questions of the applicant. I'll look to my fellow commissioners to see if they have any questions. All right. Thank you. You can take a seat now.
All right, so I want to know what's the decision, you know.
We're going to call staff up and we have questions for staff, and then we will make a decision after we discuss some things with staff. All right. Seeing this is in District 4, I'll lead the discussion on this, and I've got, if I could have code enforcement come up.
Good morning, Yolisa Forson, Cobb County Code Enforcement.
Good morning, Yulissa. If you could just kind of quickly give us a reminder of how we got here in terms of them applying for the land use permit. I think I recall in our last public hearing, notices of violation were issued. I think they had actually paid some fines, as I recall, if I'm thinking about this case correctly. Can you just summarize?
Okay. So we received a complaint October 18th of 2022, and the description, it states that there are 5+ vehicles continually parked on the grass, driveway, and on the street outside of the home. Some of the cars have California plates. Some of the cars do not have plates at all. One car also sits outside of one of the neighbors' home, and the driver sits in the car on a frequent basis. So an officer went out to inspect the property and issued a notice of violation on October 25th of 2022 for single-family dwelling and parking standards and non-compliance vehicles. During that time frame, the property, based off of the tax assessors, was at that time was 1,492 square feet, which means they were allowed to have 3 related adults and 3 vehicles. Then the officer spoke with property owner Donald Perry, and he had the tax assessors come out to remeasure the property. So once they came out and remeasured, we issued a new notice for a single-family dwelling, and the property showed at 2,984 square feet, which allows for 7 adults, 7 vehicles, and 4 vehicles to be parked outside of the garage or carport. During that time frame, when that notice was issued, an attachment was also provided to Mr. Perry on February 23rd of 2023 that showed that he was allowed to have 4 vehicles outside of the garage or carport. During that time frame, up until current, we received multiple complaints about too many vehicles. During April of 2023, our officer that conducts early morning inspections before the residents leave for work or anything like that, he observed 6 to 7 vehicles daily. So once that was observed, on a 2-week basis, a citation was issued for single-family dwelling because there were more than 4 vehicles observed outside of the garage or carport. Mr. Perry appeared in court, pled guilty, and paid a fine. And then another inspection was conducted during August of 2023. During that time frame, once again, between 5 to 8 vehicles was observed outside of the property. And once again, another citation was issued for single-family dwelling. Mr. Perry did appear in court, and he pled guilty and paid the fine in November of 2023. When we issue citations or we have an issue with the case for single-family dwelling, we do issue notice. We advise the property owner of how to come in compliance. The options are to have some of the vehicles removed, have some of the people move, or to go through zoning and apply for a temporary land use permit and get permission from the board to have more vehicles or more adults than what the county allows for.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Are there any questions for staff? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you for your presentation. Thank you for the comments from the applicant. I'm pleased to see that it appears that things are moving in a positive direction, at least in terms of the number of vehicles that are parked on the property. And it's unfortunate the applicant felt disrespected when we last met. That certainly wasn't the intent when we met back in December. However, the code is the code, and we want to be sure that we are being fair to the applicant while at the same time honoring what's required in the code as well, addressing the requirements that are included in the code with respect to the number of vehicles, in this case, that are parked on the property. It appears, though, since we are moving in that direction, though, the applicant, by his statement here today, indicates that individuals will be moved out by March 1st. Let me stop here for a moment and just ask staff, what is staff's recommendation here, John?
The initial staff recommendation for this was to deny it, but based on what the applicant said, if they're in compliance with the 4 cars outside, they really don't need this process anymore.
Okay. And what would be our options here at this point, just to?
Well, we can ask the applicant to come back to the front And if Mr. Perry can just verify that he's going to have just 4 cars parked outside, then he really doesn't need this process anymore.
I got one question
Sure.
about the through fare, parking in front of the house and stuff. You know, like I said, the grandkids are still going to be going to school from our home and daycare from our home. So they're going to have to, when there's 4 cars in the drive, they're going to have to park on front of the house in order to get the grandkids to the cars.
Oh, okay. And, you know, more than 4 doesn't apply all the time. The way the code reads is you're required to have 4 or less outside a majority of the day within a 7-day period. So if they're just coming to drop off and pick up and they're going to be there for 5 or 10 minutes, then that really doesn't count in my opinion. You know, but if they're living there and they have more cars outside, and that could be a problem. But if they're just dropping off and picking up kids, that's no big deal.
They also may be visiting, but it won't.
And visiting is not a big deal either. If they're living there and there's more than 4 cars outside, that's where we start running into problems. So, you know, based on what you said earlier, you were going to comply with the way the code reads, with having 4 or less outside, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And, you know, the number of adults living in the house, it doesn't matter to us because he can have up to 7 related adults. So that's not a problem at all. It's just the number of cars parked outside within a majority of a 7-day period. So if you can comply with that, then you can ask the board to withdraw your application, and I'll be happy to give you a refund of your application fee. But if you're going to need it, then just stay with this process and let the board know what you actually need.
I did not quite understand that.
If you're going to comply with the code and have 4 or less cars parked outside,
Yes,
then
sir.
you can ask the board to withdraw this case, and I'll be happy to refund your application fee for this. If you need more than 4 outside, then you just need to continue with this process, but you need to let the board know how many cars you need, how many are going to be parked outside, and for how long.
Okay, we're going to withdraw.
Okay, so the applicant has asked to withdraw without prejudice, I'm going to guess. So the board could consider to approve his withdrawal without prejudice, and then I'll take care of the application fee and the signed bond tomorrow.
All right.
So it's your wish to withdraw this
Yes.
without prejudice? Okay.
Okay. So based on the applicant's statement, then I'm inclined to recommend or approve the applicant's request to withdraw this application without prejudice.
Okay.
Lot 30, 2023.
Yeah.
All right. So just bring back your sign to the zoning department, Mr. Perry. Bring back your blue sign to the zoning department, and we'll get the paperwork going on your refund for that also.
You need it back?
Yeah, or, you know, if you want to, you just throw it away. Just
Oh,
put
yeah,
it in the
I
garbage.
can do that.
All right, so we'll take care of the refund, Jeannie and Cameron, tomorrow for the sign bond and the application fee. All right.
Just as a clarification, do we need to take any official action?
We
Motion?
need to approve his withdrawal without prejudice request.
So we have a motion. We have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All right. All right. So, David? All right, motion is approved 3-0 with Commissioner Dance involved, not in attendance. Thank you.
All right. Next case to hear is LUP 32 of 2023. Julia Welton requests a temporary land use permit to allow dog boarding and daycare in land lot 148 of the 20th District. The property is located on the northeast side of Hill Road and on the northwest side of Mars Hill Road. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to LUP 32? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Would the applicant please come forward to be sworn in?
Good morning.
Please
We
proceed.
were here on
Thank you.
December 5th for a temporary land use permit for, oh, I'm sorry, Julia Welton. And we were asked to provide additional information. So we had sent an email on December 7th to Commissioner Boulogne, providing a letter from the neighbor directly next door at 5100 Hill Road, approving of our proposed dog boarding and daycare business plan. And we also sent a letter of recommendation from Dr. Strobel of Alatuna Equine. And we provided 2 contacts in line with the request for further information on similar businesses and how they minimize dog barking. The first was Casey Litt of Critter Keepers Club in Marietta, Georgia, and the second was Tim Fant, who is a neighbor, and he is an equine and dog trainer.
Okay. All right, thank you. There's no opposition present this meeting. This is in District 1, so Commissioner Boulogne will lead our discussion.
Thank you. You can just stay right there for a second. I'll probably have a couple of questions for you, but let me go first to staff. What is staff's recommendation at this time?
The staff recommendation was to deny this.
Okay. If it were going to be approved, what comments, for a limited period of time, what comments would staff recommend?
It would be, well, you probably include the fire department comments. Let me see here. The stormwater management comments.
Can you repeat that, please, sir?
You know, if they're inclined to approve this, they would need to include the stormwater management comments, the fire department comments, and the Cobb DOT comments.
Okay. All right. What other restrictions other than, what other restrictions might be reasonable to impose?
What you probably want to look at are days and hours of operation,
Okay.
the number of dogs that are being kept on the property. Probably condition that there be no outdoor runs where the dogs are just unattended, just running around and barking all day long.
Thank you. All right, that's why you're here. Let's focus on those things. So, that, the concern was that if there are unattended dogs left outside to play during the day, is that part of what you intend to do, is to?
No,
So you-
they will be supervised
And
all
walk,
day.
they'll be walked by walkers during the day?
It's just the 2 of us who will be doing this, so it's very small scale. Any walking, things like that will be one of the 2 of us doing that. We both live at the property, so there's somebody there 24/7 to minimize any kind of barking. All play is supervised. Outdoor time is supervised.
Okay. During what hours can people come and go to pick up or drop off their dogs?
So for boarding, we offer that 7 days a week. For the daycare, it will just be Monday through Friday. The hours will be 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Drop-off will be from 8 to 10 a.m., and pickup is from 4 to 6 p.m.
Okay, so there's no weekend daycare then
No,
offered? All right, and boarding, how many dogs will be boarding there?
up to 10.
All right. You can have a seat, unless, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Do you have any questions?
I don't have any other questions.
Sorry, can you just repeat the hours again? Sorry, I
The hours?
yeah.
Monday through Friday, 8 to 6. Pickup is from 4 to 6 p.m., drop-off between 8 and 10 a.m.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question? I was just wondering, we were here in December. You gave us kind of a list of stuff that you wanted to see us do.
Did you
And-
receive our letter?
Yeah, I read it, all of the stuff that you asked us for. We emailed it. Were you able to receive that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So my motion would be for approval of Lot 32, limited, however, to 12 months, so we can gauge on a fairly short-term basis whether the neighbors have different thoughts after this activity comes in. It'd be subject to all fire department comments, stormwater comments, and Cobb DOD comments. It'll be subject to the hours of operation for non-boarding activities being 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Those are the dog daycare limitations. There are to be no unattended outdoor dogs on the site. And the number of dogs to be boarded is going to be limited to 10.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second. I'll second it. All right.
Sure, second. Oh, wait,
Would the board consider that for consent?
That's fine.
Okay.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is approved 3-0 with Commissioners Dance and Law not in attendance. Next case.
Okay. Next case is rezoning case Z1. Myrna Araceli Torres Castro requests a rezoning from RA5 and PSC to LRC for an office in land lot 189 of the 18th District. The property is located on the east side of Mapleton Parkway and on the north side of Community Road. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed? Rezoning case Z1. Got two. Okay, let the record show there's two people here opposed. All those who wish to address the board, please come forward and be sworn in.
Good morning, board. How you guys doing? So yeah, as
Sir, if you could, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry,
Daryl
if you could-
Johnson.
Yeah, state your
Daryl
name.
Johnson, Atlanta, Georgia. JDM Consultants, Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, thank you.
So, as John just mentioned, yes, the property is located right here at the corner of Mapleton Parkway and Community Road. My client is looking to rezone it from an RA5 to a GC. Similar zoning right next door for the purposes of an office insurance building that they're doing. We've prepared the site plan. We've had some review comments from the plan reviewers. We've responded to DOT's comments. We've responded to stormwater comments. We have a copy of the site plan here if you guys hadn't seen it yet. It's a low-use facility. We don't expect a lot of traffic here. Hours of operation will be around 11 to 7. We're still providing a zoning buffer from the residential property to the east, which is the church. So we're making sure that we maintain a buffer there. But similar zoning use from the GC to us. It just seems like it's fitting for the area. It's right off of the corridor. So I'm open to any questions that you may have. Also have the site plan if you don't have it in your possession right now. Perfect. So we got parking in the front and on the back. If you're looking at the plan there, we did do an environmental investigation on the small little ditch that we have that's coming through the site. If you guys had taken a look at that. So we had our environmental come out, and he determined that it was a small wetland system, less than 0.1 acres. So we'll probably fill that in while I'm doing the development. So yeah, we've paid special attention to the things on the site that needs to be covered, and open for any questions if you have it.
All right, well, we're going to hear from the opposition first, and then we'll call you up with any questions. Okay, sir?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Robin Meyer, and I co-chair the Zoning Committee for the Mapleton Improvement Coalition. I'm here today to ask that you recommend approval of this application, but just with a couple of conditions that we discussed with Mr. Torres, and we believe that he's in agreement with. But first, I'd like to clarify that it's our understanding that this application is not for GC category, but it is for LRC, limited retail commercial.
That is my understanding as well.
Thank you. And we too have seen a site plan that updated from the one that's presently shown on the screen that shows underground detention, which is something that we're very happy to see on this site. The conditions that we are suggesting for this application include an architectural review committee, the standard that we see in many applications that would be comprised of the applicant, the property owner, MIC, and the appropriate county staff to review the final elevations and ensure that they comply with the Mableton Parkway design guidelines. A landscape review committee, again, the applicant, the property owner, MIC, and the appropriate county staff, with special attention paid to landscaping in the rear. Although that property is undeveloped now, it's zoned for residential development, and so it would be good to get that buffer well planted now and ready for what could be new homeowners one day. And because it is the LRC zoning category, there are very few of the nuisance sorts of uses that we worry about in our community. So the only allowed LRC use that we would ask not be allowed on this property is daycare. Clearly, this is a site which does not support a lot of vehicle traffic. It's very, very close to the Factory Shoals intersection, and that's why an insurance office, a professional office, it seems to us to be such a good fit here. We understand that Torrey's Insurance is renting property or renting an office in Mableton. They have offices in other South Cobb communities. We're very happy to see them expand their footprint in our community and grow their small business. So again, we hope that this application will be approved and with these conditions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. There is no other opposition. This particular case is in District 4, and I'll be leading the discussion on this application. If I could have the applicant come back up, sir. You mentioned you have an updated
Yes.
site plan. If you could share that with Mr. Cornelius Polk there, I'd like to, if you have it small enough so we can see it on the screen, that'd be helpful.
I don't have
I don't know if that's,
We did update, and I apologize, LRC instead of GC.
that's fine.
But we did update because we were concerned about, we know that there were concerns about the intersection being closed for flat shows and everything. So we did, we made the ingress egress a right in, right out at our driveway in the front. We made it a right in, right out. Of course, we added the ADA ramps at the driveway. We dedicated right away also for the per the DOT's instructions. We slid the building back some to create a longer throat right at the driveway entrance there. So we made the proper modifications to make sure that everybody was satisfied, going to be satisfied during the review process.
Okay. And just based on what the opposition just said in terms of stormwater, they mentioned that now you're doing underground
Detention, yes, sir.
instead.
Yeah.
Where is that depicted?
So it's the dash line that's in the paved area in the rear.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's just an outline for now. We'll size that system as the technical review goes on.
Okay.
We'll probably discharge right at the culvert or the pipe that's right up underneath the roadway at Community Road. As far as landscaping goes, we'll absolutely landscape that edge to the east of us that's closer to the church property. And any street planning and stuff like that that's required from Cobb County, we'll make sure that that's done also.
Okay. All right. I think you mentioned during your opening remarks, hours of operation for this would be 11 to 7?
11 to 7, yes.
Monday through
Friday.
Friday?
They're closed
Okay.
on the weekends.
And closed on the weekends?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm thinking that might be a good stipulation to include possibly in that. Is that something you?
Well, I never like to handcuff a business, but if that's the stipulation that needs to be done, then that's fine. It's such a low use, I don't know why it would even be one, but it's up to you guys. I would let them speak, my clients speak, and they told me 11 to 7, but they may grow and they may have Saturday hours if the business load gets a little heavier. So I'm just leaving that option open to them.
Okay, okay. And while you're here, I just want to check with my fellow commissioners to see if they have any questions. Okay, all right, thank you. You can just take a quick seat. I'm going to have staff come up real quick.
Leave us.
Yeah, if you don't mind, you can come get that. I appreciate that. If I could have DOT come up real quick.
Good morning, Ligia Florem, DOT.
Good morning. I'm not sure if you've seen this updated site plan at all, but if you could just comment on the access onto Mableton Parkway, right in, right out, just to confirm, is that
Yes,
in compliance with one of the recommendations from DOT?
correct. So the recommendation was because this proposed driveway is closer than 250 feet from the signalized intersection at Factory Shoals, and we recommended a right in, right out. It looks like they are proposing an island there to guide the traffic, so they're compliant with that. And I see sidewalks along my Mapleton Parkway. I don't see sidewalks along Community Road like we recommended, but they could negotiate that with a fee in lieu for that section per the code. I do see we made the comment about the uninterrupted access from the right-of-way to the first turn, and both of their driveways seem to comply with that. I don't see the measurement on it, but it looks like from the right-of-way, it should be 50 feet to the first parking space, and the same with the one on Community Road. So for the most part, it seems like they're compliant, and they can just rearrange everything. Whatever needs to be updated can be done during plan review.
Correct.
Anything.
Okay, so
yes.
these things, yeah, they're showing these, but obviously they, like you said, these things can be addressed in more detail during plan review.
Correct. And then they have to get a permit from GDOT, from the Georgia Department of Transportation, for the access on Mapleton Parkway.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for DOT? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And if I could have Stormwater come up real quick.
Hello, Andrew Heath, Cobb Stormwater Management.
Hello, good morning. Not sure if you've had an opportunity to see this revised site plan, but could you just comment on the underground detention here, and your thoughts regarding that?
Yes, I have. This is the first time I've seen it, but that is, at this stage, that's really all I would expect to see. The site is generally sloping toward a low point, approximately where that entrance is there off Community Road. And so, as the applicant was saying, that's just above that is where the underground detention is shown, so that's the most logical location for it on the site. And so at this point, I know there's no design for that done at this time, but that it shows they are thinking about that, and I'm sure the details can be worked out at plan reviews.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Any questions for Stormwater? All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. John, if you could provide staff's recommendation.
Staff's recommendation is to approve the application to LRC.
Okay. Item 7, one of the recommendations from staff just says professional office use only. So just a little interpretation of that is that's the only thing that could go here, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. No daycare?
No daycare, no bank, nothing else, just a professional office use only.
Okay. And then my only other question is, this is along Mapleton Parkway, which does have some design guidelines. Is that a stipulation that should be included here?
It should be included.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Any questions for staff? Okay. All right, I think based on staff's presentation, or I'm sorry, the applicant's presentation, staff is recommending approval. I agree with staff's recommendation in this case, and am prepared to offer a recommendation recommending approval of this application, subject to the recommendations from staff, the site plan received by the zoning division dated November 2nd, with any minor modifications to be approved by the district commissioner. Variances as stated in the zoning comments, fire department comments and recommendations, water and sewer comments and recommendations, stormwater management division comments and recommendations, Department of Transportation comments and recommendations, professional office use only, and that the district commissioner approve the final landscape plan, architectural plan, signage plan, and adding a ninth item that the structure will comply with the Mapleton Parkway design guidelines. And that would be my recommendation.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion.
Just the clarification for the site plan date that was stated as?
Sorry, November 2nd, 2023.
So would that have to be updated to reflect this site plan?
Good catch. Yes. And what's the date on that? Sir.
I think it's January 25th, 2024.
Okay. All right, we'll update that condition to reflect site plan of January 25th, 2024. And that would be my motion.
Yeah, second still applies.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Any discussion? All right, motion is approved 3-0 with Commissioners Dance and Vaught not in attendance. Thank you. Next case.
Okay, moving into temporary land use permits.
Can we take a 5-minute break? Let's come back at 10:20 if we can. Thank you. Sorry, we're back to Cobb County Planning Commission zoning hearing for February 6, 2024. John, if you could call our next case, please.
Sure thing. Next case is LEP 1, Cristel Y. Herrera Jr. Request a temporary land use permit to allow more vehicles than the code allows in land lot 216 of the 20th District. The property is located on the south side of Hood Circle and on the east side of Kennesaw Due West Road. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to LEP 1? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Would the applicant please come forward to be sworn in?
Good morning, sir.
morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing fine, sir.
Great. If you could state your name for the record and then
My
just tell
name
us.
is Cristel Y. Herrera Jr.
And if you could just share a little bit about what you're planning to do.
Well, I put in a request on 10/24/2023 to allow 5 vehicles on the premises. Right now, I have 5. The officer, Jason, that gave me the citation, told me that there could only be 3 vehicles on the property. And after I spoke to him, Officer Cochran, he suggested that I come to the Planning Commission and request for 5 vehicles. So that's what I put in for on the 24th of 2023, October. So the reason that I have 2 other vehicles on the premises is just mainly, they're all just to cut down on the mileage on all the other vehicles. The older vehicles, I have a 95 Nissan Maxima that I use to go back and forth to work. But occasionally, my work demands that I travel out further to like Athens, and where I work at is in Canton, Georgia. But sometimes my job asks me to travel like to Athens, and that's where I use the other vehicle, which has lesser mileage and newer, you know. So I work with the United States Department of Agriculture, and sometimes they require me to travel out. And this is why I'm requesting the land use permit for 5 vehicles. What I'd have to do to have this allowed, you know, I'm ready to do whatever the commission asks me to do.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. There was no opposition for this case. This is in District 1, so Commissioner Boulogne will lead our discussion.
Thank you very much. Can you tell me, do you have any parking garage at all at this property?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Are you
My
able?
wife is using it for storage.
Okay. Well,
So,
I understand how things like that go sometimes.
yes.
Do you think possibly that, is it a 2-car garage in nature?
It is a 2-car garage, sir.
Do you think possibly provision could be made to get one of these cars inside?
That is possible.
Okay.
Yes.
I like to I like to explore the possible anyway. And then one concern I have is that it looks like the driveway itself really will only hold 4 cars.
It'll hold 6 cars.
Maybe it's just shadows, huh?
Yeah,
And-
it'll, on one side of it, I mean, well, it's, you can park 6 cars in it comfortably. It
Okay.
wouldn't,
Well, you know, I do see a concern here with keeping cars off the road. Okay, well, let me let you have a seat for just a second. I'm sorry, before you do, let me just ask my fellow commissioners if they have any questions for you.
all right, sir.
I don't have any at this time.
Let me let you have a seat then, and I'll go to staff and get their concerns, thoughts.
All right. Thank you.
John, should I direct these questions to you or to somebody else on staff as to?
Well, the staff recommendation was to deny it based on the code enforcement action. If you need additional information about the code enforcement action, you may want to call code enforcement on.
That'd be fine. Let's go to code enforcement.
Good morning, Yolisa Forson, Cobb County Code Enforcement.
Go ahead and tell us reasons for the citation, if you would, and any concerns you have regarding the property.
We received a complaint on October 17th of 2023 stating that there are numerous vehicles on the property, and they also had miscellaneous items stored on a lawn. Officer inspected the property on October 19th of 2023 and issued a notice of violations for single-family dwelling and also non-compliance vehicles, and with an attachment that advised them that the property was 1,340 square feet, which allows for 3 vehicles to be parked outside of the garage or carport daily. The property was recently inspected on January 29th, and the officer observed a non-compliant vehicle. The vehicle had 2 of the front wheels removed. During that time frame, we learned that the owner was hospitalized and since then has been released. So we are definitely going to allow the owner a week or 2 to get the vehicle either removed or finish repairing the vehicle for compliance.
Can you go ahead and address those items that you saw on the lawn that created the concern?
Let's see. It states that during the inspection, because sometimes when a complaint comes in, sometimes what was observed when a complaint was received is not what the officer observed. But during the October 19th inspection, the officer observed 4 vehicles in a driveway, a black Toyota SUV had an expired tag. No one answered the door. They left a notice of violation for a single-family dwelling, and also the attachment, along with a notice for non-compliance vehicles. So during that time frame, when the officer inspected the property, the items were not there. That complaint came in on October 17th. The officer inspected the property on October 19th. So it could have been, the resident had time to remove the items, might have been cleaning or working on a project.
Okay. Any other comments you think we should be aware of as we consider these requests?
Not at this time, because no additional complaints were received.
Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions of code enforcement?
I do not.
I just wanted to maybe just clarify. So we come in compliance, and how many cars would need to be removed based on the notice that was given most recently? Would it just be two
I
that
can't
need-
hear you, sir.
Oh, to come in compliance with the most recent notice, is that fixing the car that's currently there with the wheels removed and removing that vehicle as well, or at least one other vehicle, or is it removing two vehicles?
The property's only allowed to have 3 vehicles, based off of the square footage. 3 adults and 3 vehicles.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to confirm that. Thank you. Thank you.
If I could get, thank you very much. If I
Thank
could
you.
get the applicant back up. So
Yes.
is the situation with a vehicle being without wheels,
Yes,
has
sir.
that been resolved?
That vehicle is the 1995 Nissan Maxima, and I'm replacing the transmission on it. That's why it has the wheels off. Like she stated, I was in the hospital, and I was unable to continue the repair on it. And now I'm just waiting for the weather conditions to get better to address the issue.
Okay. How soon can you have that completed?
Weather permitting, I could have it back together perhaps in 2 weeks, because I work during the week, and the only thing that I have to work on is on Saturdays and Sundays, you know.
All right. What about, there was a note from code enforcement regarding items stored on the lawn. If you can maybe,
I don't know what that would be.
well, you see in this picture, there are a number of things we can see between the house and Kennesaw Due West Road. Can you comment on all this?
Kennesaw.
Kennesaw Due West Road, the road running by your house.
Right, the Kennesaw Due West Road,
If you look at the aerial
There's a-
map,
pardon?
the aerial map up here,
Oh,
yeah, you can see those items that are on the lawn.
inside the fence, are we talking about?
Okay.
Yes. Yes, I've cleared some of those out, some of the items, you know, like I had back there a dishwasher and stuff. I've got several barbecue pits back there, but I cleared out that this past Saturday, I did some clearing of the backyard. It's not exposed to traffic or anything like that.
You're saying the trees, there's a tree line in the front that protects the view?
There is a tree line in front of the fence, you know.
Okay. All right. And you're pretty confident you can get your wife to make room in the garage to move one of the cars inside?
I believe so, sir. Yes.
Again, if
One
anyone-
of the drive, or the garage can be cleared.
Okay. Any of you have any further questions? The applicant? Okay. You can have a seat.
Thank you, sir.
So, John, would the proper motion be to delete the request to allow for 4 cars in the driveway, or?
It would be to approve the request with a maximum of 4 cars on the driveway,
Okay.
and then your other conditions.
Okay. What other conditions?
The one car he's fixing, I didn't catch it, is he going to sell that once it's fixed, or what's going to happen? No. He's just going to put it inside the garage?
Okay.
Right.
That'd be a good thing, I think. I like that. Anything else?
No outdoor repairs on the cars, once this one car is fixed with its new transmission.
All right. So at this time, I'll offer a motion for approval of LUP 1. Subject to the conditions that the car that's outdoors that currently has its wheels removed is to be moved indoors for further repair work into the garage, and that there be a maximum of 4 cars parked in the driveway on a regular basis. And what I mean by that is, my understanding is that, as Mr. Peterson said earlier, this is not a restriction against having visitors come park there occasionally. It's 4 cars on a long-term basis in the driveway.
And one thing we need some time. Is your approval for 12 months or 24 months?
24 is fine, but I think we need to restrict the time within which is to get the car into the garage. Ask that be done within 30 days from approval by the Board of Commissioners, if the Board of Commissioners also approves this.
Okay. And did you want to put that on consent?
That'd be fine. That concludes my motion, I believe.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion? All right, we'll call the question. Motion is approved 3-0 with Commissioners Dance and Vaught not in attendance. All right,
Okay.
next case.
Next case is LUP2, Ronald McDowell. Request a temporary land use permit to allow more vehicles than the code allows in land lot 365 of the 16th district. The property is located on the north side of Lakeshore Drive, northwest of Chastain Lakes Drive. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to LUP2? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Would the applicant please come forward to be sworn in?
Hello, my name is Ronald McDowell. I am the resident at this particular property. So, how did we get here? The HOA, I put in an HOA. My mother-in-law is 81 years old, and she's failing in health, so I decided to, and I made sure I put in the proper request through the HOA to take my garage and convert it into an apartment so she can have assistance and we can check up on her and what have you. So all of that got done. I went through the board and got permits to get the job done. Job was done. So my idea was I would build a garage onto the side of the house. That was the purpose. Well, once we got finished with the process, I guess the HOA called about the cars, but what they didn't realize is that I was already dealing with the zoning committee, because what happened is that the storm and water, there's a drain that runs straight down my driveway, which prevents me from building the garage. And that is where I got from them, that whole blue things, plus you have to have 2 feet on each side of the blue line. So I got called, and they called out, and then I asked the zoning guy, the code guy, when he came out, because I asked him, I said, well, what am I to do about this situation? And from that situation, he said, well, what you can do is try to go to the zoning committee and see, can you actually ask for some type of leniency or what have you. So, and that's why I am here. And also, here's a picture of, that's 5. What happens is, wants to show that. The first car is my son that goes to Kennesaw State. The second car is my daughter, which is at North Cobb, right behind it. The truck is mine. The black one is my wife's, and my other son parks right in front of this first car here. And the reason why that's the way it is, he used to park on the street, and I had complaints from neighbors. So I wanted to survive the neighbors, so I just put concrete out, because code enforcement came out for that as well, and expanded out the driveway. So, and what I'm here to do today here is to ask for lenience. I've been through the up and down, but I see from the other cases that I know that from what I did find out is that for the size of my lot, it's supposed to be 8 occupants and 6 cars, but if I had a garage, then you wouldn't see the other 2. So, but because of the storm water drain runs straight through, it prevents me from building there. And I would hate to start doing something for them to tell me to tear it down.
Understood. Thank you. All right. I don't believe there's any opposition for this case. If you could just stay there, sir. This is in District 3, which is Commissioner Dance's district. She is not here, so I don't know if we're going to, and Commissioner Valda is not here either. I don't know if we want to sort of tag team this a little bit and just ask questions from our commissioners.
So, yeah, Deborah asked me if I would jump in and get involved, and I have talked to some folks in the neighborhood. I think the one huge problem we have is the drainage easement issue. So let me start with the staff and get back to you with some questions at the end, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Okay, you can have a seat for a minute. So let me go to stormwater.
Hello, Andrew Heath, Cobb County Stormwater Management.
Okay. What's your understanding as to the location of a drainage easement on this lot?
Yeah, and the GIS image that was up before does show that there's a storm drainage line along would be the right side of the property as you're looking at it from the street. And so no doubt there is a drainage easement associated with that. The applicant mentioned a 2-foot side setback. That's probably, in stormwater management, we don't apply a side setback to the easement, so that's probably in that image, and those two are very close together. I think there's a sanitary sewer line that's running almost parallel with that storm drainage line, and so the sanitary sewer and storm drainage easement are kind of overlapped in that area, and so the 2-foot side setback is probably more, or it is for the sanitary sewer easement rather than the storm. But you're right, both of those easements are kind of overlapping in there, and so both of the easements exist to allow the county, whether it were for the storm drainage pipe or for the sanitary sewer, to be accessed in the future or repaired or something like that. So that if someone did want to build in that area, that would be an issue.
To what extent are the buildings that are shown here in the rear of the property in that storm sewer easement?
Yes, the white rectangle, I'm not sure if that's a building or just like a temporary awning, but there is another building that looks like more of a permanent structure a little bit further back. And if the way the easements appear to me, it appears those buildings might be partially within the easements now.
Are there any circumstances under which we have allowed folks to build within a storm sewer easement?
Typically, we don't allow it. Sometimes we see we see development kind of creep into those areas where maybe a little wall starts to be built or a little patio, and then someone covers the patio, and eventually it ends up being as a building. And so over the course of decades of time, you can see that sort of thing, but it's not the sort of thing that we would permit to be constructed within the easement.
Okay. Well, what does storm sewer think ought to happen here?
Well, is the building, I guess, and I was a little bit unclear when the applicant was speaking, is the small building at the back right corner, is that the detached garage that's being used for the purposes on site, or was what he was proposing to build, is that in a different area?
We'll have to ask him. We'll have to get him back.
I got you. I was a little unclear on that myself. If it's further development within the easement area, then we would frown on that. But it looks like he has an area maybe in his backyard where he might be able to, if he wanted to build a detached garage or in any sort of structure, he might be able to just shift it over there out of those areas. There are as I say, fences and walls and things like that that are within drainage easements. But if it were new development that he's proposing, we wouldn't want that to be constructed within the drainage easement.
What about cement within a drainage easement?
Say that again.
Cement for a driveway?
If it's just a driveway, we don't have a problem with that. If it's
Okay.
just access, that's fine. So.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have questions of stormwater?
I don't.
All right, let me go to John and find out where the county is on, where county staff is on this request, and what we might be able to do.
The county staff did recommend this application be denied based on the code enforcement complaint.
Okay. So I guess we should hear from code enforcement next?
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning, you're Lisa Forson, Cobb County Code Enforcement.
Thank you.
We've received a complaint for this property on October 12th of 2023, stating that 6 or more vehicles is in the driveway daily. The officer went out on October 16th and issued a notice of violation for single-family dwelling. Based off of the square footage, which is 3,245 square feet, they're allowed to have 8 vehicles, 8 adults, and 4 vehicles can be parked outside of the garage or carport most of the week. The officer did speak to Mr. Ronald, who stated that he does usually have more than 4 vehicles. He immediately went to zoning, and he applied for a temporary land use permit. We did not receive any more complaints after that.
Did you have any thoughts as to how we could go about resolving this issue other than the land use permit request? Or did you have other ideas? Was there a way maybe to put up a structure and get a car put indoors?
As far as structures and building, they have to go through zoning and building permit, and we support whatever the recommendation of zoning is. On our end, we enforce the ordinance, but zoning gives the recommendation, and the building department issues the permit. So it would be best if zoning made the recommendation.
Okay, let me.
So if there were a carport that were put up in the paved area right now, I think the staff analysis had said you can have up to 4 vehicles outside of a garage or carport. So, and they have, I think, 6 that were shown in that. Would the carport then, would that basically solve the problem if I'm just doing
They
the
would
math?
be in compliance.
Right, so effectively, I'm oversimplifying to say that they probably just should build a carport?
If it's approved by the building department and zoning.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything on that.
I guess, let me go back to staff. Are you aware of any restrictions that would prohibit the construction of a carport outside of the drainage easement?
No, but the drainage easement does take up a lot of space on that side of the house. And I'm trying to find out, does this house currently have a 2-car garage?
No. My understanding is there was a 2-car garage, but that was converted into living space.
Oh, okay, so there's no garage at all then? Okay.
But we'll go back through that. Okay. No further questions of code enforcement? All right. Let me get the applicant back up here.
Thank you.
All right, so you told me about, you have a child who drives to high school and one who drives to college at Kennesaw State, right, residing in the house? Okay. Then you have your mother-in-law with you?
Yes.
And does she have a car too, I guess? Is it?
No, she don't drive.
Okay. And then it's you and your wife?
My wife.
Okay.
And then myself.
So that's four vehicles.
Then my other son, which I said parked in front of the actual car that he had there. actually parks right in front of there, so that whole lane is clean. So, real quickly, she just said about the complaint, and I'm gonna say this and do it quickly. The reason why of the complaint is that the HOA approved me to do that. Once I got approved, the new board came in, they didn't like it. So from that point on, they've been calling your guys out. Every time I turn around, y'all might have a big folder on me. So I've been moving and trying to do the complaints from one end. But also, if your guys was to go out at about 6 o'clock at night, they will find 5 of the houses have more than 6 or 7 cars, and they're in the street. So, but they deliberately did this, and we just had an HO meeting in January, and they put up a petition to sign, and they tore it up because they knew this was the issue. You guys never know the issue because you're doing your job, but it's amazing how they use code enforcement to bully the people that's there. All I'm asking for is basically, I'm explaining on the other drawing that they had with the 2 white documents. The white building there was a temporary building while I was renovating. So that building is no longer there. The other building was a mobile building. Well, it's just a storage shed, because I made sure I checked with the actual zoning when we was building that it has to be temporary because of the drainage that ran through there. So that's why that building was on that part. Now, when I was going to the back, I was trying to consider building in the back. And before I could do that, I went to the building committee and it was looking at it. That's how I ended up going to storm water and all the different places trying to make sure, okay, can I do this? I wanted to follow the rules because I know every time I turn around, there's code enforcement, somebody just not happy about something. So, and that's where we end up here. So the other vehicle in the back is when I'm doing shrubbery and all the other stuff, that's what the old truck is for. More so like that vehicle, and my neighbors use the vehicle as well. But that's what it is. And I'm here to try to comply with whatever your rules are. But I'm also saying that with the storm water, that the way it was coming, I was told specifically when I went over there that I couldn't build and end up here at the zoning because I'm trying to figure out what to do and if I can do anything at all.
So what's behind the, it looks like fencing to the left of the vehicle that's behind the pickup truck that's facing us, closest to the house, right? You see that area?
Yes.
What's immediately behind there?
Just the yard, if you, yeah, switch over to the other one over here. That one. That's the reason. If you see there, in the back, right there, just right there, that area there is all of this just left. So I would have to end up pouring more concrete to come back or put it right there in the back where the back door is and put a garage there. So.
Can you point on here to where you think you could put a garage?
When you said behind this is the fence, right there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, behind there you got this. This is the only thing that's left, right here.
Right, well,
so I'm saying if we put a garage here, one of the other things that I think that they mentioned is that you can only have so much concrete put on an actual lot, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And that may supersede that particular point there as well. So.
Do you have mostly grass back there now?
Right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And you said you don't need some of these structures on the right anymore, really. So, and then what? You have a little patio or sitting area up top in the back end of the property.
Right here?
Yes.
Yeah, that just it's granite rock that's into the ground itself, and I just put rocks there and put some chairs around it.
And you did originally plan on adding some carport or something, right?
With the original plan, did I plan a carport?
Yeah, yeah. You said when you built in the took the original garage to the house and turned it into additional living space. The plan originally had been to build another carport, right?
Was to put a carport across the side there where you seen where the two trucks and the trucks were crossing the Suburban. It was to come right across there.
Okay.
But I didn't know that I had a drainage problem where the drain ran up under there. That was the surprise part because I had to get a permit. If I was going to attach it to the house, it had to go through the zoning and building permit to attach to the original. So I had to go up there, and that's what I was told to do. And when I did that, they said, no, you can't do it, because they sent me over to stormwater, and they said, you got a drainage running up under there.
If anyone else has questions of the applicant, okay. In that case, you can have a seat. I like Commissioner Anderson's idea. I think based upon what the original plan was, and as I'm looking at this, I don't see how the stormwater easement would adversely prevent there being a two-car garage or carport built out here. My motion and recommendation would be for denial of the application, given the fact that it appears to me that there's still an ability to put a 18 or 20 foot wide carport to the rear of the existing driveway area.
Second for discussion purposes. Actually, would it be possible to call up stormwater again, just to have,
Sure.
Can I have Andrew come back up again? Just want to make sure I understood.
Hello, Andrew Heath, Cobb Stormwater Management.
Hey, Andrew. Can you clarify? So if in terms of what structures would be permitted within that drainage easement, if you had a detached two-car carport, is that something that still would not be recommended or allowable?
That's right, yeah. If it were any sort of structure, we wouldn't permit that within the drainage easement. And I believe I heard the applicant say that the two structures that are there now are just temporary structures for, storage and things like that. And so probably don't have a lot of concern about those. If they are temporary, they're likely to go away before too long. But certainly the driveway is already on that right side of the property, so it would make sense if a vehicle were going to continue to drive off the end of the driveway. The driveway itself can be within that drainage easement and can cover that. We're okay with that. Just the building itself would have to be just enough outside that, off to the side. It might even be able to be rotated, maybe like 90 degrees, where a vehicle could go up the driveway and then just kind of make a 90-degree turn in. Maybe that would work as well. So.
Okay. And that would require just kind of placing it where that fence currently is right now, right around the back of the house?
Yes, and I can't tell, there might be some landscaping or some trees or something in that area there that might be in the way of a plan like that. But certainly, we're definitely willing to entertain any building as long as it's outside the drainage easement. We'd be glad to work with the applicant on, trying to find a location for that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Andrew. Any other questions, fellow commissioners?
You want to entertain a question?
I'm fine with that.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Okay, so.
But you have to come up.
When you said carport, I'm not opposed to carport, but I'm trying to understand how things work here, because there's an HOA, there's state laws, there's county laws, there's city laws. So the HOA says that I can't have a carport. Here, where you guys may cancel this all together and say have a carport. So my thing is, how do I navigate through this maze?
Yeah, we can't really advise as to how to navigate through your HOA. I'm not familiar with the rules of your HOA in that regard. So you'd have to either meet them or obtain a variance from them, which it sounds like you've already done once vis-a-vis the additional. So what it sounds to me like, not to get too far outside our roles here today, but is that your HOA created the problem that some of your neighbors don't like when they authorized the garage to be used for interior living space, basically? Am I understanding you correctly in that regard?
Well, I guess they authorized it, but it was nothing in the HOA against it. So
Okay.
the purpose was going there was not to break the rules, but to ask for permission.
But you're telling me today, though, that there is something in your covenants about not having carports?
Yes, sir, but.
So it'd have to be a garage structure?
But that's the reason why I asked which one supersedes. If this part supersedes that, then I do exactly, and I'm going to do exactly what you guys tell me, regardless of what they do.
Without giving legal advice, it's my understanding that we do not supersede HOAs. So, when we say garage or carport, if the HOA prohibits carports, it would have to be a garage structure.
Okay, thank you.
So we have a motion and a second for discussion. Any further discussion? I'll call the question. All right, motion passes 3-0 with Commissioners Dance and Vaughn not in attendance. Okay. All right, next case, John.
All right, next case is LUP 3, Falasat Edicina, request a temporary land use permit to allow more adults than the code allows in land lot 645 of the 19th district. The property is located on the west side of Ridgecrest Circle, north of Ridgecrest Drive. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to LUP 3? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Would the applicant please come forward and sworn in?
Good morning. My name is Fasilat Adeshina. I'm here because I applied for permits to allow more adult unrelated to live at the house. On the 25th of October, I received a call from, please give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I thought I had pulled that up. Yes.
Excuse
On
me.
October 25th.
Excuse me. If you could move a little closer or have the mic a little closer to you so we can hear you.
Okay, like
Thank
this?
you.
On October 25th, I signed an agreement with Daniel and Sonia, who is a disabled, based on the disease called myotonic muscular dystrophy. They moved in immediately. On October 27, I received a call from a code enforcement officer that there is a violation of too many adults living in the property, more than the square footage allowed of the house. Meanwhile, I had just finished the basement, which has increased the number of adults allowed to 5, but with a clause that only 1 unrelated adult can be allowed. When I learned about this, I felt so bad, and I feel like I should help them because they were almost thrown out of their former place where they had lived for 9 years because the owner was selling the house. And they had just moved in a few days before I got the call. This made me to pursue this land use permit. I request this in this situation that the county allow them to live there based on the fact that Sonia cannot live alone and she needs Daniel's help. We'll be glad if this request is granted. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. There's no opposition related to this application. And this is in District 4, so I'll lead the discussion on this. I'm going to have some questions for you, but if you could take a seat for a minute, I'm going to have staff come up for a moment. If I could have code enforcement come up.
Good morning, Yolisa Forson, Cobb County Code Enforcement.
Good morning. I know from reading staff's analysis, this request is a result of a code enforcement violation.
Yes.
If you could provide a little bit of background, and I know from our email exchange that one of your officers was out there just last Monday, the 29th, I think, if you could kind of describe what they saw at that time, but also give a little history on that.
Yes, sir. The case was opened on August 15th of 2023. We received a complaint stating that a box truck is parked in a yard, and usually 8 vehicles are regularly parked at the property. When the officer went out there on August 23rd of 2023, there was a notice that was issued. During that time frame, the property was measured at 1,080 square feet, which allowed for 2 adults and 2 vehicles. The owner did have the property remeasured, and the tax assessor's office did come back out and found the property to be 2,160 square feet, which allows for 5 adults and 5 vehicles, but 4 vehicles are allowed to be parked outside of the garage or the carport. Notice of violation was issued for customary home occupation, parking standards, non-compliance vehicles, litter, outside storage, and single-family dwelling. The officer did find that 2 different families was, the owner lived upstairs, but then there was 2 different families that rented the downstairs of the residence. And that's a violation of single-family dwelling. The officer did come back out on January 29th of 2024 and observed 3 vehicles parked in the driveway. Nobody parked on the grass. The commercial vehicle was removed from the property. There was a mattress on the right side of the house and also on the back of the house, and also other items that were stored around the property. So right now, the property is currently in violation for outside storage.
Okay. You have some of the photograph. You have some of the photographs that you took from the most recent.
I do, sir.
Okay. If you could.
So that's from the inspection that was conducted on January 29th. There's mattresses on the side of the house. Let me keep flipping. That's the front of the property, showing that the vehicles are parked properly in the driveway. It's hard to see in that picture, but there's items stored by the fence, like a tire and other items over there. There's other items, I guess garden tools and other items stored on the side of the fence.
Okay.
More mattresses are also stored along with boxes and other items as well.
Okay.
It's a seat from a vehicle and a few more items on the side of the house. There's a chair and some boxes and doors and other items that are stored outside as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you. While code enforcement is here, just wanted to see if my fellow commissioners have any questions. Okay. All right, if I could have the applicant come back up. And while she's coming, John, if you could give me staff's recommendation.
The staff did recommend this application be denied based on the code enforcement action.
Okay, thank you. So, ma'am, you saw some of the pictures.
Yes, I did.
Are those,
Yes.
could you provide some explanation? Are those your items or the tenants?
The tenant items, but I can have them remove them immediately. That should not be an issue.
Okay. You also mentioned, I think I heard you, that, and the application refers to someone that's disabled. Is
Yes.
one of the tenants disabled?
Yes.
And care is provided by the other individual?
Yes, the husband is the one that is helping her. So I can't just have one person leave. I mean, one of them cannot leave without the other. So that's why I'm trying to help them with this.
So, John, back to staff. Has staff documented the nature of the disabled situation on the occupants?
Yeah, the fact that there's a disabled person, it is listed in the paperwork that's in the report.
Okay.
So it is there.
Okay. All right. All right. So I think going back to the materials that are in the yard, when could those be removed? How quickly could those items be removed?
That should be removed in a few days, maybe under 5 days, that should be gone.
So I think based on what I'm hearing, I'm inclined to offer a recommendation. Actually, you can sit down now at this point. Mm-hmm. Offer a recommendation to approve the request for just 12 months. And during that 12-month period, staff or code enforcement staff will do quarterly inspections, code enforcement inspections of the property. The applicant also is going to be required to remove all of the items, the mattresses, everything that was documented in those photographs by February 29th. So we'll give them until the end of the month to remove those items and approve the land use permit for 12 months with quarterly inspections by code enforcement. And so that would be my motion.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. No, we won't put it on consent. All right, we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All right, call the question. Motion is approved 3-0 with Commissioner Stanton not in attendance. Next case, John.
Okay, next case is LUP 5, Yolanda Castillo. Request a temporary land use permit to allow more vehicles and adults than the code allows in land lot 64 of the 17th district. The property is located on the south side of Lowell Drive, east of Cunningham Road. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to LUP 5? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Would the applicant please come forward to be sworn in?
Hi, good morning. My name is Yolanda Castillo.
And I'm Yamil Rodriguez, helping her out. Pretty much, she requested, I'm nervous, a permit for, to extend, to allow more people and vehicles in her driveway. She has lived at the property for 23 years, and her children are growing up. And her baby just got her license, and they got a car for her. And that's where she stands.
Okay, all right. There was no opposition for this case. And this is in District 1, so Commissioner Boulogne, lead our discussion.
Tell me how many people, I'm sorry. Tell me how many people live in the house at present?
4 adults and 1 child, or 1 minor.
Okay, how old's the minor?
16.
And the 16-year-old that just got his or her own car?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And all the adults in the home drive?
Yes.
As well? So you're asking for 5 cars?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions of the applicant from mine?
No,
From the group? No? Okay, thank you. All right, have a seat for a moment. Let me find out from staff what their thoughts are.
The staff, let me see, the staff rec for this is to deny it based on the code enforcement action that's been ongoing, Commissioner Bowling.
Should I go to code enforcement again, find out what initiated all this? Okay, let's do that.
Good morning, Yelisa Forson, Cobb County Code Enforcement.
Okay. What citations have been issued here?
They haven't had any citations. There was issued a notice of violation for a single-family dwelling. They're allowed to have 3 adults and 3 vehicles at the property. When they were issued notice, we did do early morning inspections, and most days they had 5 vehicles, as the owner stated. The owner did come into the office and met with me, and she stated that there was 4 adults, there's 5 vehicles, and she does have a 16-year-old. We have not gotten any other complaints. It's just that the property's out of compliance because they have 2 extra cars that they're not supposed to have.
So importantly, you just said no other complaints from any neighbors or anything about noise or unsightliness or anything?
They've tried to comply with us.
Okay. Any of my fellow commissioners have questions?
I don't.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me go back to staff. So, do you have an understanding, are the adults here related?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And can you tell me, given the fact there haven't been any neighbor complaints, what kind of concerns there would be regarding allowing so the variance request would be to allow 4 adults to reside in the premises? Rather?
Correct, because based on the size of the house, they're allowed to have 3 related adults.
We haven't had a whole lot of these.
No.
Have we authorized these at all?
I'm sure we have for related adults.
Okay. Are there any restrictions we should consider if we authorize this? I note, for example, that some of the parking, it looks like a pretty long two-car driveway going up the side of the house. So it doesn't look like there's going to be any problem with cars being in the road or anything, although, there is one here in the picture, ironically. Should we have any restrictions on against surface parking? Or?
If the board's going to consider to approve this, you should probably state that all parking be on the driveway, because it looks like there's enough driveway space to park at least 6 cars.
Yes. Can you tell me why is the request for 6 cars when I understand that?
I'm saying there's enough room to park 6 cars. The request is for 5 cars.
Correct. Okay. So other than that restriction that all parking be on the driveway, do you know if all of these vehicles are currently, or as shown in the picture, are on driveway surface?
They are all shown on driveway surface right now.
Okay. Okay. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any further questions of staff?
I don't.
Okay. So based upon the fact that there have not been any neighbor complaints, and this is just for 2 years, correct? The allowance?
Yes, 2 years.
Be restricted to 2 years, okay. Based upon the fact that there haven't been any neighbor complaints, my motion would be to approve the LUP, that we recommend approval of LUP 1, subject to the requirement.
5. It's 5.
I'm sorry, LUP 5, my apologies. Subject to the requirement that there be no parking on the right-of-way, no parking of cars on the right-of-way on an overnight basis, and that all owned vehicles be parked in the driveway, or if there's a garage. Is there a garage structure here at all? Okay. That all the cars that belong to the permanent residents here be parked on the driveway.
And that's for 24 months.
Yes.
And did you want that on consent?
Okay. Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and we have a motion. We have a second. All right.
Second.
Motion and a second for LUP 5. Any discussion? I'll call the question. Motion is approved 3-0 with Commissioner Stantz involved, not in attendance. That concludes our cases for today. We just need to approve our minutes from a zoning hearing on December 5th, our minutes from our special call meeting on January 3rd, and also our minutes from our public hearing on January 3rd for a comprehensive plan. We'll entertain a motion to approve those.
Sorry. Do I need to do separate motions, or can I just do all as one?
I think we do individually, correct? In the minutes?
Okay. I move to approve the minutes from the December 5th Planning Commission hearing.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, a second. Any discussion? All right, call the question. Minutes are approved for December 5th, 3-0.
Okay. I move to approve the minutes of the special call meeting on agenda review work session, January 3rd, 2024.
All right.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the question. Minutes are approved, 3-0. Well, Commissioner
sorry,
Anderson.
Sorry.
All right. Minutes are approved, 3-0.
And then this is for the comprehensive plan. Move to approve the minutes of the comprehensive plan meeting held on January 3rd.
All right. Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the question. Those minutes are approved, 3-0.
And you have one more, right?
I didn't get my thing sheet. I see it.
Do you have?
Show it to me. That's just our work session.
Do we need to do the?
Oh, special call, I'm sorry, the agenda work
This one as
session,
well?
January 20.
Yeah.
Yes.
Move to approve the minutes of the special called agenda review work session on January 29th.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call the question. All right. Motion's approved, 3-0. That concludes our meeting for February 6, 2024. Thank you.